You there, Wayne? Um, yeah, Wayne, put the link into the comment section when this thing goes, or it is live now. So comment there instead of individual.
I'm back.
Yeah. I was gonna say is get the link and put it in the comment section of where the page where it's live, so people will see it there and I can click in, not in individual chat things.
Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen and see if I'm doing it right.
Yeah. Oh. So,
Right.
still
Yeah,
got
put it
few
right here.
brands to pick. Yeah. Well.
You see it?
Yeah.
I guess I'll post it again.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah,
So,
all in all, I think I did a good job. But
there's a few criticisms I have, and I'll address. But I mean, you didn't present much straw man arguments. Your position's cleared up quite a lot, so that's good. But a few little things, but all in all, it's very good.
the change of kind arguments. Oh yeah, this kind turned into that kind, and
yeah, you've nailed it down pretty well. But so a few things. You know that letter of dissent. Those quote unquote 600 scientists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, hey Steve.
What is this? Invite for? What am I
doing? Wayne did a video thing where he's giving his position as it is now, and so they went for like 30 minutes or so, and he's gone through his position, and he did a diagram and so forth. So I'm going to be correcting a few things, but all in all, it is improved. Yeah. So.
Coolio. I just got out of a Nephi hangout.
Oh my god, dude. Wait, Steve. Okay. I eventually tracked down the he mentioned the bird evolution paper that I cornered him on, right? And his counter was, at least it looks very dated, but at least when it was put on YouTube, it was from 2009. But the the computers that this guy had in the back of his office, it looked like it was from the 1990s or very early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he's quoting. There's an interview. He uses interviews, and one guy being interviewed, I forgot his name, William. William A. Clemens. He's got a PhD in the relative fields, paleontology and so forth, and he's quote mining this bloke saying that it's about the bird evolution, right? So I was a bit on it, but all in all, he's saying that paper. You addressed this in an after hangout, right? That he's getting the different origins wrong and some shit like that. Anyway, I went to I think it was, but he's addressing during the Cretaceous period and birds and so forth. And so I went to this guy's publications. He accepts evolution. He's fine with it. And in fact, I found a paper published by this bloke in Zoo Systematics and Evolution. The title of the paper is called "Patterns of Mammalian Evolution Across the Cretaceous." Cretaceous territory boundary.
Tertiary.
So yeah, and it's reflecting evolution. Analysis of the phylogenetic relationships of mammals comprising of North American early Paleocene faunas demonstrate that recovery of taxonomic diversity after the KT boundary was the product of two processes: one, evolutionary radiation of some locally surviving stocks, and so forth. It's reflecting evolution.
Well, I mean, if you ask like Nephi actually said in our hangout one time that the KT boundary, the iridium in the KT boundary, was produced by the flood, and literally like the whole room just fell to the ground. It was just like, what?
Oh no.
It was, what?
Wait, so wait. So how does the water get this thing from space? KT boundary is the result from the asteroid, right?
Yeah, from a meteor impact about 65 million years in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Because
we know
that was confirmed. Yeah, that was confirmed with samples from the moon and so forth, and other things that have hit Earth since then.
Yeah, I mean, this is long settled science. This is not even something that's up for, people know the KT boundary. I mean, they know the iridium layer.
But the iridium came from space.
Yeah, and he maintained that the iridium was from the flood, and we're like, okay, this is just try to picture this in your head. It's just a big body of water is going all around the world, and it's laying down these layers, perfect layers of stratification, including iridium. It's just nonsense.
Steve, the water was so violent, it literally went up and decided to pluck a meteorite from space. It's like, oh, I want this. Boom, and throws it down somewhere.
Also, maybe it's Netley's asteroid Bukkake theory. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It's mind-blowing. I mean, I can't describe that. We know, we have samples of actual meteors. We can tell that it has iridium in it. We know
it's not trivial.
Yeah, it's not trivial. We know that the iridium found in meteors, has the same concentrations of what we expect to find if a meteor that size, based on that kind of composition, exploded. And based on the decay rates, we know it was 65 million years ago. Hang on to this young Earth model. They have to have so many mental manipulations. It's unreal. But anyways, quick question: where are we? I don't even know what. I was checking my messages. I got back. I had to go out of a nephew's room. I had to run an errand.
What is this? What are you doing?
Where are we? I mean, whose hangout is this?
Oh, this is Wayne.
Yeah.
It's whose?
Wayne.
Yeah. I invited a whole bunch of people and nobody showed up, so I don't know. Maybe everybody sleep or in somebody else's hangout. I don't know.
I was kind of surprised. Evan only has like 67 subscribers. Maybe that's just on that one channel, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened there, but.
Oh. I was kicked from that because I was being a bit of a. I was asked. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, I wish I found that bloke's publications.
He didn't kick me, but I got Tommy to kind of finally admit that allopathic speciation is a real thing, and because he had to go run to Nephi obviously and get validation from.
But dude, I was stuck because I had Neff, I had Tommy, and I had NeoCloud. That's too much stupid for one exposure.
Dude, you had that. I had that, and I had West Coast Downs too.
Yeah, he was there as well. Sorry. Yeah. Oh
my God. I mean, I could talk to Nephi and I'll talk to Tommy. How am I talk to West Coast Downs? The guy literally doesn't know jack shit about the
topic. Well, we'll have to rant about that another time. But so Wayne, your thing, you mentioned the 600 descent.
I said So those guys, they're against like Darwinian evolution and stuff like that. Which a lot of people like. I don't know anybody who believes in like straight like Darwinism, just straight. Yeah, Darwin was right.
I will have to point out though, like I did in the Q&A after your thing with Steve, is that a lot of these guys don't have anything to do with the relative fields. And so none of them don't even do science, and those that do have nothing to do with that the iron scientists don't do biology and so forth.
I think if you narrowed it down, there was like literally it'd be distilled to make maybe 3 or 4.
It was like 6 or so. Yeah, and so this bloke that went by the YouTube name of Don Exodus 2. He was a scientist in some field. Steve, do you remember what he was?
I don't. I just know he was very well educated. I mean, the guy is like on his game.
He did do a science. I think it was biology.
I think he was a doctoral student. I think during the time he was making videos.
Yeah, and so we don't know what happened to him. I hope he's all right. But he did this video way back in the 14th of April in 2008, where he literally contacted so he sent out emails, right, to the people listed. And so he goes through, and this video is about 10 minutes long, so it's all right in length. And a number of them responded back, and of those who responded back said they had no idea what it was for. Those that, and there's a few that didn't respond, and then from the rest, they either like I mentioned, one that does image processing at some university, and so some of them, they do engineering or something like that, and the rest have nothing to do with science at all, like some like plumbers or whatever have you. And so he goes through, and what's left is only about 6 or so that are in the field of biology and so forth, and yeah. So I will link you the video, but
oh, sorry, carry it on.
Yeah, it's alright. It's if you can see it there, Wayne, that's the video, and he goes through and he contacts them, and of those that are in the related fields.
And let me point out that in any position, you're always going to have standard deviations in anything. I mean, there's this. No matter what it is, you could argue that that the sky is blue. You're going to have somebody arguing that it's green. I mean, literally, there's always going to be a standard deviation out there. So I mean, to be within outside 3 standard deviations, you're outside the norm completely. You're done. It's basically, might as well say, well, there's 500 people that think they're this flat. Well, who cares? That means nothing. You know?
Yeah. So that was just one nitpick. The thing with speciation, so you got that right. You're down with that. However, that is the result for a good number of them, ring species and so forth, is the result of adaptation to the new environments. So that's how they can no longer interbreed with their parent, so that's why. It's because they're adapting to the new environment. And one of Steve's that he linked to Tommy Hall, published in Evolutionary Biology at BMC, titled Predictors for Reproductive Isolation Ring Species Complex Following Genetic and Ecological Divergence, the smallest conclusion possible. These results show that instantaneously the evolutionary outcomes of ecological divergence differ from those of genetic divergence, whilst evident properties of taxa may emerge via ecological divergence, such as adaptation to local environment. That is evolution. That's what Darwinism is commonly called, evolution by natural selection. If I'm wrong.
Oh, so basically, so Darwinian evolution would be natural selection.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
Okay. Real quick, technically, what Darwinism is that natural selection was the prime and really the only mover. So that's what because he didn't know anything about genetics. So he had pangenesis, and he had something that he had coined. Oh God, what they were? I can't remember these little particles that he had actually theorized that would be possible to take, heredity crossed boundaries.
Okay.
And that we eventually found out that was actually DNA and stuff like that. So he had the concept down, but he basically thought that natural selection was the prime mover, and that's obviously not the case. I mean, it is a major factor, but there's so many different things that go into it that doesn't take into account. But Tommy didn't know what post-zygotic.
Yeah,
he didn't know what post-zygotic isolation was, and even after I went into the hangout, he didn't know what it was. I'm like, Tommy, I just literally explained it to you before, and you still don't know what it is. And this is the kind of the mind dump that he goes through, and it's just like he's like, well, that's just choice.
Yeah.
But as you said, what?
Yeah.
So I explained him again. You can't a zygote that gets fertilized. You have two gametes come together, get fertilized, you have a zygote. It doesn't come to term. It multiplies a few times. It goes through a few cell divisions.
Yeah. So the two will fuck. Pardon my French, Wayne. But the two will fuck, and it'll go in, it'll fertilize, but because it's basic chemistry and so forth. But it won't come to term. That's it. So it may, yeah, it will do just that, but it won't come to term. So the two might funk. I can get a horse and a dog. Well, okay, if I, but yeah, it won't come to term. Exactly so.
I pick a little too closer things, but yeah, they won't come to term.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Tommy, think about this. If it doesn't come to term, do they have a viable offspring? Do they reproduce? He's like, no. I'm like, what the hell is the difference between that and any other reason why they don't reproduce? If they're a different species because they don't reproduce. It doesn't matter whether it's on a genomic level or whatever. It means they do not reproduce. And he finally capitulated a little bit. And then Netflix kind of got on mine for it. He's like, oh, you're just, are you really trying to side with Steve kind of thing or something like that. But
Yeah.
he thinks I stronged arm Wayne by twisting definitions and even
Yeah.
and even Netflix, wait, hang on one second. Netflix commented, and Netflix hadn't even watched the video yet to tell you how disingenuous people are. And he even commented, he's like, well, you just split hairs with Wayne, and you won because of technicality of definitions. And I'm like, Neff, I was like, you didn't listen to the debate. So I mean, there might be a little truth to what he said. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. It has to do with the definitions, and I was fully aware of that. But it wasn't. I'm not trying to be deceitful. I mean, this is how it works. But
the definitions are right.
My definitions are right. Oh, absolutely. And even Tommy agreed with that. That's why Tommy kind of he stood up for me. He's like, well, I looked into what Steve was saying, and there are two ways that things are defined. I mean, and so Steve just didn't make it up because he thought I'd just make it up. Even though I should know me better than that, But he went into it, and he's like, okay, Steve, Steve's not on a limb here. And Nefli was basically saying I just changed definitions to win the debate. I'm like, okay, Nefli, this is beyond disingenuous here. I wouldn't stoop that low, especially to a friend. Why would I do that to Wayne? That would be so. I just couldn't imagine doing that.
Well,
I'm not going to.
Did they see that I changed my mind at the end? Like I really did change my mind. This isn't my thing. Like it's real. Like all right. So for me, like how I see it is macroevolution does happen, but it happens like we see it more when it's a loss for information. I haven't seen where like it's a big gain, and if it's a big gain, that's macroevolution too. Because it's a change going either way.
Yeah, and so this deals into one of the next nitpicks I have is this genetic entropy that was coined by the bloke's last name was Stanford. He doesn't go to the University of Stanford, but I think that's his last name. But he's got heavy criticism for this. There's no quote-unquote genetic loss over time. We have genetic recombination, which we can do in genetic engineering, and also, there's been cases where, with the coevolution of, I think, a wasp and a bee, I'm not sure what it was, but I've got the paper somewhere, and over time of these two going at each other, I think the bee has some of has a recombinant DNA, or rDNA, of the wasp. I'll have to find the paper again, but so you do have these kinds of things, but that's not genetic entropy. Steve, you can.
Well, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by coevolution between the two. Coevolution can mean a bee evolves with a flower. It helps pollinate a flower, kind of thing.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Let's make sure we're on the same page there. But I don't know where you were going from there. I'm sorry. I'm responding to email on something else, and I'm trying to here.
Well, it's just this coin is the genetic entropy is proposed by guys got credentials, but is a creationist and so forth. But it's been heavily criticized. He's the only one that uses it. Again, up to Google it again. Genetic entropy. It's by John C. Stanford, not by the university. And so he's a geocentrist. Geneticist. God damn. It's bunk is pretty much. We don't see this kind of declining in the in the genome. Yeah, there's nothing to support it at all. Yeah. And then with the intelligent designs, you moved on from that to intelligent design. Do you agree with what they say of irreducible complexity, Wayne?
Is that because I know I used the term, but I didn't really look into it. But that's the thing where if you take away one thing, the whole cell will start, or it'll start working or whatever like that.
Yeah. So is that what you subscribe to?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I subscribe to it.
So irreducible complexity.
Right.
Okay. So have you seen anything from true empiricism?
No, I don't watch his stuff.
Okay, good. Very good. Glad. So he always brings up, say, the ATP synthase and so forth. I'm actually getting really sick of the word. Yeah, I've said it too much now. So we have, he says we don't know the evolution of ATP synthase. That is a load of bollocks. I've provided him numerous times, even while I was half asleep, in the discussion I had with him, and he called me a scientist. I want to slap him for that. So we have a few papers. One paper published in Febs, the evolution of the different sections of the ATP synthase, A, F, and B type synthase, and ATPases, reversal in function and changes in the coupling ratios. And so it goes through a thing called deconstructionalism. Yep. And so what that basically is where you can pull these things apart and you still have function on the more simplistic things. That flies in the face of irreducible complexity because the ID pretty much states that you can't pull something apart or what have you and have function. So with the ATP synthase and so forth, we have that. We can see they still have functioning mechanisms when you pull it apart and so forth. And so you see its evolution and other things. So I've got all together just one.
Now that's what people want to read. That's interesting.
Yeah.
What was? Oh, I'm sorry, I caught two words. What was Rocket Robbie's argument again though? Really, what was he talking about?
Rocket Robbie's. Oh, so with the with ATPa's and so forth, it's pretty much how I take it is irreducible complexity.
What RTPAs or RTBAs? I know what RTPA is.
ATP, sorry, not ATP. ATP synthase.
Okay, there's ATP synthase, but I thought you were talking about what's called RTPA.
No. I can't hear
protein. I thought you said RTPA, which is basically a protein that breaks down blood clots. It's
no, I didn't say no.
Something activated, but I can't remember what it is. Whatever.
Yeah, it's an anticolin. Yes, thank you. Yes.
I know what that is. I never heard of. I never heard Roddy making that argument.
Yeah, I meant ATP synthase. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I will provide the papers, Wayne. So yeah, it's there's already been multiple pubs just dealing with that kind of evolution just in this one mechanism. Oh, that's the title. One second, I'll give you the paper as well. Paper there.
Right.
I will delete that one.
Just open it up.
Yep. And then there's this one. And so yeah, you break them down. You can still have functional components, and you see those in other more quote unquote more simplistic organisms. So you do see this evolutionary trend, and so yeah, that.
No, what I want to know is like how was that possible? That's That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, it's. I don't really touch into ATP synthase, but I mean, you know, you do have publications on that showing its evolution and so forth. There's another one. I've also got so many bloody links opened up right now. I did prefer that one, did I? Yes, I did. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that. So yeah, bookmark those, and you'll have you can read up on them in your own time. So yeah, and then an age-old argument against irreducible complexity is the flagellum. There, the creationists would always deposit that as proof of it. However, you take away a number of proteins from the flagellum, and it changes function into
T3 secretory system.
Yes.
T3 secretory system.
Yeah, it's like a syringe.
Listening a little bit, yeah.
It's like a syringe kind of function. For function, it's a syringe pretty much. Yeah. What's the guy's name? Miller. Henry? Is it Henry Miller? Is his name?
No, Ken Miller.
Ken Miller. Yeah, Ken Miller is a Catholic, a Christian, and he argues that very well. He PhD in something or other, and he's done the research. He's done a few publications, I think. So he advocates the teaching of evolution and so forth, and well, being a Catholic, so he keeps his faith, and with human evolution and so forth. So, which brings me to the next piece is you didn't, obviously haven't really gone over it yet, is human evolution. So we have fossils and we have, the genetics to back that up. So the other day I linked you a number of papers. No, that was someone else.
That was today, right? That was like a couple hours ago.
I tell you what, I'm gonna fill this question as God from email to Wayne. See if he can answer it. This is what creationists asked me. See if you can spot the fault in this fucking question. Oh my God.
God damn.
By the way, you guys talked at the same time. Is this Wayne's hangout? Yes or no?
This is mine. Yeah.
Okay. I'm watching my language a little bit. Okay, Wayne, I'm going to field this question to you. Okay. He says it's not even a question; it's more of a statement. But he says, unless you can produce an example of an observed change in an organism resulting in a change across order, family, or genus lines, then we have nothing to discuss. Do you kind of see the conceptual error there if he's asking for an organism? Or even given population. I know he's not even, that's even a bigger mistake, but he's asking for a population that can cross order, family, or genus lines. Does that make sense to you?
But that's never happened. And also, that's not how it works.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And that's the misconception that he's having. Once you are in an order, once you're in a family, once you're in a genus, then anything that comes from there are going to be in those order, families, and genuses. We're the genus Homo, right? The family Hominidae. Okay. If we're never going to change out of that. Anything that evolves from us are not going to stop being humans. They're not going to stop being Hominidae. They're not going to stop being vertebrates. And so I don't know what he even means by that.
I guess it would be a logical fallacy in the question, but he wouldn't know it because if he would have known that, he wouldn't have asked it. So,
I mean, I love this one. Like resulting in a change of order, family, genus. I'm like, okay, well, yeah. How does he think that after a period of time, anything that we have is going to change to not be a primate, right? It's like,
And that's the problem. Like I said, they don't because I mean, I read a biology book for like 5 days, and then me and you we had the debate. And then I thought about what you said, and then I looked it up in I think it was the same biology book, Concepts of Biology, 2007. And then I was like, wait a minute, like this is true. And then I changed my mind. That was it.
Well, if I give you the name of this video, you tell them who you are. You have a little podcast. You can say you're a younger creationist because technically you still are for the time being until we finish with you. But I've asked him to come on air, and it's on the video. DNA cannot exist without DNA. Dr. Safadi's chicken and the egg. So DNA cannot exist. Dr. Safadi, and you should be able to find the video. And then the guy's name is G-Spotter63. Quaint. So his name is G-Spotter63, and you can find him under one of my comments. But I don't. He's another guy's named David77. I think he's amazing. But these guys really I don't have time to sit there and comment to people that don't know even a second grade understanding of it. I just don't have the time that much. It's just not of interest to me.
Like I said, man, people got to stop watching freaking Kent Hovind DVDs and stuff, man. Oh my gosh, this is like, holy crap. I like Kent Hovind, but I mean, I think he's wrong when it comes to his arguments against this. Like, those are the it's some arguments against evolution like people should stop using. That's
Yeah, but I mean, you were obviously at one time a big fan of Hovind, and I think it's diminishing as you're realizing there's chinks in his arguments.
I mean, I like him and stuff like that. He's a smart guy, but if he knows that what he's teaching isn't true, he shouldn't teach it, and that's wrong. That's all. So
he has an agenda, though. He's made a living off this shit, Wayne. I'm sorry, made this crap. I mean, he's made a living off of it.
Well, he's made, and that's where he went to jail over the money. I don't know anything about the legalities of it. He keeps on saying it's a stupid law. But what I did do, because I had a website before I got a YouTube channel. And on my website, I didn't know that much about the case, but what I did was I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to like a peer review journal or whatever, like Forbes, and I went to Forbes, and they were giving you like unbiased information on his case, and he broke the law according to Forbes. He broke the law. This isn't like they singled him out and he went to prison because of his religion or whatever. That's not the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't you think we'd rather get rid of like Ray Comfort? I mean, it's like no, kid, you're not that important of a person to them for the government to go after you. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't really work that way. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, come on. It's persecution.
So yeah, and I said that on the website. I said, I don't know what's going on. If it is persecution, it's bad. But from the evidence, it doesn't look like it. That's what I said, and I still hold that view. So from the evidence, it doesn't look like it was persecution. Looks like he broke the law. Now he may have broke the law and not know he broke the law, but that's still breaking the law. So he could have said, you know what, I didn't know. It was bad or whatever. I didn't know it, but I still broke the law. So.
Well, actually, he did because the judge gave him a chance to pay back the taxes, and he refused, and that's when it all went downhill. He could have paid back the taxes. If he would have just played ball, as a figuratively speaking, he wouldn't probably have spent a day in jail. But he wanted to keep the money. The money was more important.
Yeah. Well, I do know that he was making a lot of money because he said he wanted to what's the word? He wanted to buy the houses across the street or up the block, whatever like that. He wanted to buy like the whole lot and build up a new house and do this and do that, and so. Now I do know about real estate because I didn't even tell you guys this, but I went to real estate school. I don't work in real estate right now, but I know a lot about it because I went to school for it. And so like even when you're buying real estate and stuff like that, they ask you what do you do, what kind of work do you do, and they want to know like where are you getting this money from. So that could be a problem too, Because they can report you to the I think they can report you to the IRS or whatever. Like say you buy like a house that's like worth like $120,000 or whatever. You don't have like any tax information for where you got that money from. They can report you for that.
Yeah, tax evasion is one thing that you cannot get away from. I mean, the IRS was taxes you have to pay.
Yeah, so it's not an option, and that doesn't have anything to do with creation or evolution. That just has something to do with just straight morality. And like if it comes to that, I can't go to bat for him on that because the evidence it just looks like it's going against him. He's a nice guy in my opinion, but it's wrong. So.
I mean, he's charismatic. I'm not going to give that away from Kent. I mean, he's a charismatic kind of guy. I mean, he could have been a hell of a good used car salesman. But his science is bad, and we demonstrate his science are bad. That's all we do. The fact that he doesn't want to recognize it, well, that's kind of the point. He doesn't correct his things. He says he does. He said numerous times. before over the years. And even to me, he said, if something's wrong in my presentation, I'll correct it. Well, he hasn't. He hasn't even made an issue and said he was wrong. He hasn't. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. All I can say is I know what I'll do. If somebody tells me something's wrong, I'll look into it, and then I'll say, you know what? I can't prove this. This is all just theory or hypothesis, and don't take this as literal fact. This is just a hypothesis. This is just a theory. But what? And I do notice what a lot of people do, and this is just anybody. Whenever somebody's talking about science, they always present their stuff as hardcore fact. And anybody that says anything against their research is just plain wrong.
Well, two things I'll say about that. One, if it's a new idea, then people try to assert it, as they battle this crap out together. When you have competing things, people battle it out, right? Now, when I assert something as fact, I'm asserting that it is scientifically demonstrable, and I can give evidence for it. I can cite research papers. I mean, I'm not using a brute force method. Just saying by brute fact these things are factual.
Yep.
I'm not making a proof fact like, oh, hey, God does not exist kind of thing. That would make when people do that, it's nonsensical to me. I can't imagine anybody saying, well, I'm brute force fact or by brute force making a brute fact that God does not exist. That's just silly. So I go by the evidence. When I say it's a fact, like evolution is a fact, that's a true statement. There's no even a question about that. Because we can demonstrate evolution exists. We have hundreds and thousands of papers that demonstrate evolution exists. Now, when we say evolution, okay, or a scientist says evolution, it may not be what a younger creationist thinks is evolution. Like Nephilim does not grasp that. His definition of evolution is vastly different than anybody else's. Okay, so
What does he think evolution is?
He thinks evolution, literally, he thinks that in order to have evolution, you have to have a change in the DNA sequence, in the nucleotide sequence, such that it will produce a protein that can make morphological differences. And I don't have too many papers readily available for that. But I told him, well, do you know that collagen is a protein, and it's a structural protein? So if these proteins are changed such that collagen is a structural protein again, it'll change things in morphology. It's just kind of a 1, 2, 3. Makes sense, right? Well, kind of go to Neffy.
Yeah, he's off the deep end in that, like, just, yeah. Well, I would recommend for a one-stop shop for the very basics, for newcomers, as it were, for people like yourself, is go to Biointeractive. It's a YouTube channel as well on the Howard Hughes Medical Institute website. And so one of the videos is called Great Transitions, The Origin of Humans. And I'll link it in the chat. I'm sorry for the spam of papers in the side chat. I mean, damn. But I would suggest you watch it in your own time. Maybe even do what you did just now. Oh, and just a comment, with that video that you shared, I couldn't hear the audio.
Which one? The one I did today?
The cartoon one, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, and I couldn't even, this time I didn't even see the animations. I just saw your screen for that. So you'd have to, you'd have to link your.
Was your presentation supposed to have audio during your video?
It was, but it wasn't working, so.
I didn't think about that. I thought I didn't even hear any audio. I didn't even think about it. I just thought that was just playing. I didn't pay attention to that. I'm sorry. Christopher Hitzlab was listening in just a little while ago with me in Neffy's room, and he's calling me courageous killer. I'm like, no, there's I'm not a courageous killer.
No, don't be. Yeah. But yeah, there's numerous publications on that, and they have proper people in the fields of paleontology and so forth, and they go through and they show the fossils, the radiometric dating methods and so forth, and yeah, it's from a credible YouTube channel and from an actual institution that deals with this kind of stuff.
Eventually, we should change official channel of Wayne Philmore, Creation Science. Or not.
Creation science.
Exactly.
No, but somebody who says creation science is like demonstrably proven, because more or less it's theory. I can't go back and prove the creation. I can't prove God made the earth in 6 days or whatever. So, and somebody who says they can prove that, I would say prove it to me. You can't prove it.
No, you know what? I wouldn't even ask for proof. I don't like the word proof in science because it's just a really misnomer. I would never ask somebody to prove that. I'd ask them to demonstrate it and show me evidence. That's all I got.
But I would correct you, Wayne, because we are talking about science, and you're saying theory. I would have to advise to keep to the definition of theory and science. So theory is where something is reached by evidence, repeatable and so forth, built upon laws and all that kind of stuff. So,
A scientific theory is something that's already been confirmed. It means it's confirmed. It has been elevated to the status of it is a observational model that explains. Actually, it's a model that explains observations. So it's not just a guess; it's a hypothesis. It is a confirmed explanation of why things happen.
Yeah. So
it's a model of why things happen. Go ahead.
Yeah. And Eugene Scott, she's got the credentials behind her, very impressive. But she's seen in this little interview kind of thing on YouTube, and she explains what a theory is. So bear with me for a sec while I pull it up and play it audibly or some shit like that. Steve, you can do something else while it's very short, but
gotcha. After I watch that, I'm gonna get ready for bed. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here. Well, 2:13 in the morning.
Oh, fair enough, man. But I'll just link it, and then she explains what a theory is in science. It only goes for 4 minutes or so, and I just linked in the chat there. But I hope you bookmark all that kind of stuff, because I mean this will help you out, and it's academic work by its very nature. But I would definitely recommend the video series on evolution by the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. It's great stuff. It's simplistic, but it's great.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you guys this. Ever since, and it's only been like a day. Ever since I accepted macroevolution, one guy unfriended me. What else? Some other guy. He basically was just like, "What? Macroevolution isn't science." And then I was trying to explain it to him, and he wasn't grasping it. And then to one guy I explained it to, he got it. He was, "Oh yeah, I get it. Macroevolution is this, macroevolution is this, whatever." So
that's good. But yeah, I mean. I told you that might happen, though. I mean, even Tommy's coming around a little bit. Tommy's like even thinking. And I just talked to my nephews and was like, okay, well, I agree, allopathic speciation probably does happen. And then I make a real simple argument, and he's just like, okay, well, you're splitting hairs, but technically speaking, under those definitions, which I have read, that would be macroevolution. I'm like, well, there you go. But Nephi, went through the roof. So unless they really unless they understand the nuance of the argument. A lot of people may not get it, Wayne. And Tommy, it took us how long to understand? I mean, for 2 days, whatever it was, to explain it to Tommy to how this works, and he finally kept coming around to it. So eventually, you have to reach a point where you're like, okay, I cannot refute this shit no more. And even Tommy is coming around.
If you get Tommy, I would salute you and buy you beers long into the night.
Yeah, no shit, he'd fly out to see me, and that would be awesome. I'm working on it, man. He's slowly breaking down. You should have seen him 6 months ago. Woo!
Oh yeah, that's true. I might actually go back to his YouTube videos and see what he was like back in the day.
The great white whale would be Nephi, though.
Hey?
The great white whale, like Nephi to convert Nephi.
Oh, that would be amazing, but that's
I've had one conversation with him, and I said, and I admit this, young Earth creationism. I say, I don't know anybody who can scientifically prove it, like you said, through theory, it's hypothesis off of It's based off of theology. The only reason why I believe it's based off of if somebody can theologically prove to me, that God made the earth for millions of years, heck yeah, I believe it. But theologically, it doesn't make sense to me. Scientifically, I understand where you guys are getting it from. I understand it, but theologically, I don't get it. So that's my problem with that.
Yeah, and that's understandable too. But we're going to pound you with the science that you can go validate. Because I mean, when you're one of the more articulate and intelligent creationists we know, this is why we spend so much time with you. I mean, I don't like low-hanging fruit. It is not a consequence to me. So I mean, I will send people to your channel, and if you finally come around and finally realize that young Earth creation is nonsense, and then you accept evolutionary theory and understand it really well, and you learn about biology and still be a Christian, I would be happy to send people to your channel. You can debate till your cows come home, whether God exists or whatever, and I will support you to no end. That's not my dog in the fight,
Well,
I would respect you. Sure, I'll be like, if you want to go talk to a respectable Christian, go talk to Wayne.
Well, I'll say this: if somebody wants to believe in millions of years or whatever, I don't have a problem with that, man. That's just me. That's just how I feel about the theology.
Right.
If somebody can, fit it in there, hey, go for it. Like I said, being a Christian isn't determine if you believe the Earth is young or not. That's stupid. I mean, you can be a Christian, believe in millions of years, believe in evolution, all that stuff. To me, it wouldn't theologically make sense, but if you can sit down and you can show me where it can fit in with the theology, I'll believe it too. So.
Yeah, to Nephi and Hogan, though, it is one of the, you cannot be a Christian unless you accept that we walk with dinosaurs. And I'm like, you know what? I think if Christ was here, he'd be going, what? Christ said, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wayne, expert Christianity. Christ basically said, love thy neighbor as your brother, and basically that if God, the Bible says, if you believe in Christ, that he was the Son of God, have faith in him, that he is the eternal salvation, and you have faith that you have in him that you have eternal life. I mean, you can be saved.
That's right. That's the basics. Those are the essentials. If you believe Jesus Christ came, lived, died, and he's the Son of God, or is God in him in flesh, that's it. That is it. I was talking to some Jehovah's Witnesses too, and they broke it down as if you love God and love people, that's it. Love God, meaning love Jesus, love people. It's simple. It's simple. As long as you love Jesus, love people, you're good. You are good. You are in the clear.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. I mean, I am totally in your camp on that one. That's how I interpret it as well. But what they do, Wayne, I know you got to go here, it's late, but before you go, what these people do, with Hovens and them, they say, well, yeah, those are the basics, but you got to believe the Bible, and if you don't believe the Bible, then you're wrong, because the Bible says that the man walked with dinosaurs because of this, and all this other nonsense he throws in there. So what he's basically trying to do is he's doing a fallacy. He's saying that he's trying to apply A equals B equals C, therefore A equals C. So he's throwing all these other caveats on there to say, well, to be a true Christian, true Scotsman fallacy, that you've got to be not only those basics, but you've got to accept that man walked with dinosaurs, or you're not a true Christian. And it's like, no, that's just horse shit.
Yeah, that's like the certain denominations. Like I know. All right, so it was this church I was going to here in Philly, and I think you guys know the denomination, pretty famous, the Church of God in Christ Church. And I didn't know this is what they believe until after I had left that church. For obvious reasons, where it was just bad, man. I found out that particular church, and I'm not going to name it live on air, but that particular church was like really swindling people when it came to tithe and offerings.
That's horrible.
Yeah, the pastor's son or something like that was on drugs or something like that. He was like on crack, so he left the church and he went back there like that. It was a whole bunch of stuff going on in that church that I'm not going to name the name. But long story short, that denomination, they believe that if you are in that particular denomination of Church of God in Christ, you're going to hell. And I'm like, what? What? So you're telling me I could believe in Jesus? Jesus could forgive me for my sins, and I could still go to hell because I wasn't in the right building.
Isn't that asinine?
Oh my gosh.
Religious or not, that doesn't even follow from a flow of logic or reason. It just doesn't flow. That's like the Westboro Baptist Bible. That's the Westboro.
Disgusting. Oh.
So yeah, it drives me nuts when people do that. And to me, they're only saying is, you know what, join our church for salvation because we want your money. That's the only thing it tells me.
I want to join the Westboro Baptist Church for $1 million. They probably will rape you. So.
I think when God looks down, he looks at these churches saying that, he's like, you know what? No. You guys are all screwed because that's just nonsense. He's not telling specific churches, okay, you have to be a member of this church, or you're going to burn in hell. That's not even a rational being to me.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go, guys. It's a little late, but it's been good talking to you, man. And let me see. You know what? I'm gonna open up this chat a little bit later because the chat will still be here, the sidebar and everything will be here, and I'll look at the papers, man. But thanks, man, for the information and stuff.
Good.
And what I'll do is I'll look over my stuff again because I want to make sure that I'm presenting your arguments and stuff right, because I don't want to straw man you guys or anything like that. Especially, like I said, it's one thing to do it not knowingly, but when somebody told you about it and then you do it again, that's disrespectful.
Yeah. And there's a distinct difference between saying, according to evolutionary theory, that's one thing. But there's another to say, you know what, evolution theory teaches this when it doesn't. That just drives me crazy. So if somebody says, I don't agree with evolutionary theory, but they teach this, and this, and they're right, okay, that's different. That's fine. They don't agree with it, but at least they're not straw manning. You know, but I don't see that very often, I assure you. At all, I think. You want to see what we got going on in another hangout, maybe?
Yeah, man, I'll be keen.
All right, how about hit me up, I'll hit you up in like 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
I know Wayne's going off air and he's going to take off, so.
Yeah. All right, talk to you guys later.
All right, thank you.
Catch you later, man.